Morning, everyone. I just found out well, I know that I was speaking today, but I'm also the MC for the day, so I'm going to do my best. I'm kind of a crazy American, so I'm going to try very hard to speak slowly. For me, that's very difficult because I'm also Italian and I speak very quickly and with my hands. But thank you so much. This whole day session is on R&D innovation, and I think the Simba Events Group has pulled together an amazing, amazing group of speakers. I know some of you will be going back and forth to the marketing sessions. I think that it's really great to have the blend of both, and I encourage you today to definitely go to some sessions that maybe you wouldn't normally go to so that you really think outside the box. And what I always say in the world of R&D is innovate or die. You have to think about the future, and you have to really think futuristically and differently. I know there's a lot of scientists in the room, and some of the thinking and the thoughts today is going to be science-oriented, but some is going to be marketing and trend-oriented, and I want you to embrace that and think differently. So first I'm going to give a presentation on trends and the future, and then we're going to move on to some other really amazing speakers, okay? So I think I'm going to give you this. So, welcome to the future. And my name is Jeanine Recckio, and I live in New York and Palm Beach, Florida, but I didn't always start there. I actually grew up on a farm, and I had my first brand of potatoes. I was an organic potato farmer at 7 years old and had my very first brand. So I think what's really interesting is even though I'm in the world of high fashion and beauty today, there's also kind of like a groundedness that's very, very important. I want you all today to really think about the future. You know, people ask me all the time, what is a futurist? The bottom line is when I left college, I started at all the big beauty companies. I was at Revlon, I was at Estee Lauder, I was at L'Oreal. And then I decided to start my own company with a really big celebrity makeup artist. And I had to do my business card. And I felt like I was too young to put down president and CEO. So I was like, I think I'll be a beauty futurologist. And everyone said, you cannot put that on your business card. Nobody's going to take you seriously. They're going to think you're like a cosmetologist or a beautician. Well, lo and behold, I want to let you know that there's actually 800 futurists all over the world. I am the world's only beauty futurologist, but there's futurists in the world of architecture, food, police. It's pretty amazing. A lot of them are economists, very deep thinkers. We actually work with companies on not just what's the next shade of lip gloss, although I'm really good at that. It's really about where's your life going to be, where's your business going to be in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Just think real quick, I give the example of Kodak. They kind of didn't really anticipate the future, right? They pretty much almost lost their entire business because they were making all of their money on selling film, and they didn't anticipate the world of digital cameras. So it's really important to truly, truly think about the future. So what we do today is we do look into our magical crystal ball. We actually publish a magazine and a trend report called the Crystal Ball Beauty and Lifestyle Trend Report. And we sell these reports to brands all over the world. So we personally have offices in New York City and down in Palm Beach, Florida, which is near Miami. So we do a lot with Brazil, a lot of the Latin American countries. I'm definitely not here today to say I'm an expert on Asia. We track this world very, very closely. I'm thrilled and honored to be here. I definitely have to admit it's the first time I've ever been to Asia, so I'm going to do my best. But I think it's kind of good. I hope I can bring in and ignite some thinking from the other side. What's interesting about our company is we're more than just a trend forecasting agency. We can do anything from copywriting to product development, and we actually have a factory down in South Florida where we manufacture. So we work with amazing raw material vendors. We have chemists. So it's the full range of a beauty laboratory and manufacturing facility, which is very, very extremely unique. So some of these trends that you'll see today, we're going to try to ignite thinking so that it addresses all of the businesses that you are all in. So these are just some of our partners. We work with major Fortune 500 companies, but we also work with really unique startups and celebrities, from Donald Trump and Joan Rivers, God bless her soul. And that part of the world is very interesting, because as we're becoming multicultural and multiracial, the whole celebrity focus is very, very, very important. We also work with global retailers and e-tailers and TV shows like QVC and HSN, and they keep us really smart and thinking clever, because at the end of the day, no matter what business or brand any of you are in, if we can't sell it to the retailer and then sell it to the consumer, we're kind of all out of business. So it's important to kind of listen and learn from all the different sectors. So today I want you to all pretend that you're futurists. I want you to take out your magical crystal balls and think differently. You know, sometimes thinking about the future can be very uncomfortable, and I hope that some of the things that I say to you today actually make you a little uncomfortable. At certain points you're going to think, she's just crazy. At other times you're going to maybe hopefully scratch your head and think, wow, this is kind of cool. But my goal and objective too is for each of you to walk out of here with at least one note, one big idea, or one thing you haven't thought about, because change and thought process is very, very important. If you don't innovate on the top line, you're never going to make money on the bottom line. So today we're going to go into the future. I want you to pretend that it's year 2025. Now, with this presentation, I am going to go a little quickly. I'm just going to top line some things. I'll be around all day, so if you want to come and chat with me, and you know, we offer these as full trend reports, but I just want to kind of tease you a little bit and get your mind going. Now, some of the things that you're going to see today, believe it or not, are happening now. Some are a little sci-fi, some of them are really into the future, and I know some of you are going to be like, no way, that's never going to happen. But just look how fast all this technology today has been happening. If we sat here 10 years ago and I'd say, oh, from your cell phone, you're going to be able to Snapchat and send photos, you'd say, no way. So just have an open mind and think differently. So one of the things that we do is we do a lot of work with a Procter & Gamble, Colgate-Palmolive, brands such as that, where we really talk about the future of the home. How are we going to be living our lives? What is the home going to look like? What is the bathroom going to look like? Because that all drives our R&D innovation and products that we need. The home of the future is going to be extremely different. These are some futuristic bathrooms that we're working on, and the importance of water and where the water goes, and you'll actually wash your clothes, and then that disposable water will be what you then flush your toilet with. The toilets are also extremely smart in the future. In fact, the entire bathroom is linked up to your doctor, to your dentist, because everything is linked. It's almost like biomedicine to the next degree. So we really call them smart bathrooms. Now, some of the things in the report that I like to highlight too is challenges. I just got back from Brussels, where I spoke at the big product council meeting where there were like 62 countries represented, and I kind of call them the sheriff or the police of our industry. I know some of you are shaking your head because we all hate regulatory and all these rules, and what makes all of our jobs relevant but difficult at times. So what we want to try to do is anticipate the future, kind of make them our friends. You know, when I first went and spoke, they were like, oh, you know, they're all going to hate you in the room because these are the people that make the rules. But by the end of the session, I said, you know, we actually all became friends. They were like, if all the R&D executives and all of the chemical companies and raw material vendors, if we can think futuristically together, it'll make the rulemaking a lot easier. So as we're doing all these paraben-frees and sulfate-frees, you know, we're getting a little crazy out there. A lot of the formulas, as you know, as smart scientists, they're not staying stable. It's a challenge. Now, for many of you in the room, it's a good thing because it keeps your jobs. For other people, it can get extremely stressful. But as retailers and for consumers, one of the things that we're doing is we're designing refrigerators right into people's bathrooms. Now, don't shake your head, because believe it or not, a lot of the Palm Beach homes, which is one of the wealthiest zip codes in the world, I'm putting refrigerators in all of my clients' bathrooms. So it's very interesting to watch how we're going to be refrigerating products. Also, think about cryogenics. We already have a couple brands, some dermatologist brands, that are starting to show frozen skincare. So that R&D ingredients stay in its purest, most potent form. So something to think about as you're designing new products. Now, this is another example that I love to give. One of the things that we do in our agency is we travel all over the world and we go to trade shows. This is a picture from Cosmoprof Bologna, Italy, which is the world's largest beauty show. And have any of you ever tried the hair robot? Oh, good. One. Excellent. And it's Josh. Okay, the hair robot is actually really interesting. You stick your head in the robot. You get 2 shampoos, a rinse cycle. It's like a car wash or a dishwasher for your head. These do exist. They are starting to go into homes. Now, why do I show it? Well, interesting. Think about the dishwasher for a minute. I know this for a fact because I tried it once. I don't recommend it. You cannot use regular dish detergent in a dishwasher, right? When the dishwasher was invented, R&D innovation geniuses had to come up with special formulations that could go inside the machine. So as we think as innovators and R&D experts, we have to watch this crazy stuff because we now have to formulate products. We have to go to lipochemicals and some of the other raw material vendors out there and say, hey, we need special products. They're going to go inside the hair robot. So really interesting. Here's another picture of a trade show with another generation of the hair robot. So pretty fascinating. Water is very, very important. 70% of our bodies are made of water. The world is made of 70% of water. They say that that is purposely by God. But we are actually working with unique scientists all over the world that measure the pH in the water. So the Futuristic faucets will actually balance your pH, put vitamins, minerals, special things in your water. You know, I work with a lot of people in the hair industry, and they're constantly criticizing formulas, and we go into focus groups and women are like, my shampoo doesn't work anymore. And then I look at them, I'm like, honey, it's not your shampoo, it's the water. The water is really, really important. And sometimes we forget that element, that whatever product you might be designing or making, you can't control when the consumer takes it home, or he or she, what kind of water they're using. So definitely keep an eye out in the future of the home, and in the future is water, and these water devices are really important. We're actually working with these really cool shower heads that have little pods that you can customize your water with vitamin B12 or vitamin C. Very interesting. And again, these are some trends that actually exist today. You can go on Amazon.com right now and buy some of these faucets and buy some of these shower heads. So extremely interesting. Now let's talk about edible beauty, where food and beauty collide. Some people call it nutraceuticals, some people call it beauty ingestibles. It's happening. It's happening so quickly that a lot of legislation and laws haven't even kept up to speed. I don't know how many of you track the whole rules and laws in the vitamin world, but it really wasn't regulated, especially in America. And now they're starting to crack down. There's all kinds of pills to grow your hair, fix your nails. Now, I think actually in Asia, you guys are leapfrogs ahead in this category. You're already drinking collagen and doing some crazy stuff, which I love. So it's very interesting to watch how the two collide. And when I was speaking in Brussels last month, we actually had people come in from the food industry to listen and learn from them about how they're regulating, what they're doing in the labs. Very, very interesting to see how we can do better as an industry. I always throw this one in there because in our lifetime, we will eat at least 7 pounds of lipstick. So the importance of edibles and safety is very important. Some of the things that we're starting to see very aggressively from the raw material vendors is probiotics, gluten-free. I mean, look at the gluten thing. It came out of nowhere, right, in the food industry? And now we're actually saying formulas are gluten-free. I mean, I don't know, the last time I checked, there wasn't bread in my nail polish. But, anyways, it's important to people. Vegan friendly, vegan nail polishes. These are all buzzwords that consumers globally are listening to, responding to, and loving. These are some other different kind of examples. Beauty candy. There's the Nescafe from Asia with collagen in the coffee. So we're seeing this fusion. It's very sexy. It's really smart. And it's definitely not going away. I read something else today that was very interesting. It was in the news on sugar. And I know there's a lot of negative things on sugar and aging. Yesterday on CNN, it said don't drink, sugar drinks. It's going to make you age. But now one of the latest new injectables that's coming out is they're actually putting sugar in the skin and in the lips because they're finding that it rejuvenates the cells. So keep an eye out for this whole sugar crystallization, glycation trend. Extremely interesting. I love this. I have to throw some of these in, hopefully to get a giggle, but you can make your boobies bigger with candy and cookies. These are a whole range of hair vitamins. This one I happen to love too. It's a pill that you take and then you get a blush. So how close are we to these edible cosmetics? And again, this is a product that is out in the health food stores today. We're working with a lot of perfume for the mouth, perfume that you swallow, things that go inside your body and outside of your pores. I always give this example. It's a little crazy example, but one time I was shopping in London and I went into this fragrance shop and I picked up this bottle and the woman said to me, oh, it's $250. And it was this little bottle of like rose perfume. I said, well, why is it $250? She said, it is so pure, you can drink it. I'm like, who wants to drink their fragrance? But then at the time, I was actually working for Anita Roderick, who was the head of the Body Shop, God bless her soul. And I went back to the office and I said, I have this brilliant idea. I want to do drinkable fragrances. She said, that's it, Jeanine. You have really lost your mind this time. You're nuts. You're absolutely crazy. No one's going to buy a drinkable fragrance. Long story short, at the same time I was working with Sephora, and they were looking for a hot, brand new idea. We signed up a celebrity, Jessica Simpson. We named the product line Dessert, and I did the world's first lickable, edible fragrance. I did a belly button fragrance. I did body sugars that you could lick and eat. Believe it or not, most of them came from the porn industry, where they do a lot of lickables and edibles. The first year we did $120 million in sales. It was the hottest line. We couldn't even keep it in stock. And it was all different saccharins and lickable sugars and lip glosses and kissable. So this whole edible thing is definitely there. It may not be right for every brand, but I've seen it work. These are some other pills where you actually take the pill as a deodorant. Now we'll move on to the next trend, which we call strange. I like to just show some of these examples of just, we're a society that needs to be shocked. I think at this point we're so numb that we need aliens to land to really get attention. This is an interesting brand from Italy. I don't know how many of you have seen this, but it's a fragrance based on your blood type. So do you know if you're blood type A or B? So it mixes with your pheromones, it mixes with your body, it mixes with your human growth hormone factors. Very interesting to then say, how are we going to come out with a new personalized fragrance? And this again is a line that is on the market. The sugar trend that we just talked about and the sugaring, very interesting. One of the things that we do at our agency very successfully are trend tours. I throw this in because I want to encourage you that when all of you go back to your office, wherever you may live, definitely get out of the office and try to go into the stores and not just competitive shop. Go into a candy store, go into a toy shop, go into a store that you would maybe never go into and come up with new ideas and new ingredients, but make sure that they're strange and weird, and then email me. Let me know how it went. Now the next thing is this whole global fusion. We're seeing it just everywhere. They say in the next 20 years, the perfect pure blonde will be extinct. The redhead will be extinct. We are merging cultures. We are cross-pollinating. You know, blacks are marrying whites who are marrying purple who's pink, and it's just all over the place. I throw this one in because there's a place in New York, and it's called Mexican sushi, and Japanese tacos. So it's taking things that you wouldn't expect and merging them. We're seeing it with these food fusions and flavor fusions and different profiles. Very important. And then I'll show this brand. It's a hair brand that's sold at Target in America. Very successful. And the concept is called Mixed Chicks. And the girl who actually invented it is pretty much like, look, my hair is screwed up. You know, I kind of know my father's nationality. Maybe I don't know. My mom's Asian. My dad's from Morocco. You know, there's this whole fusion. So what's happening is the hair is kinkier and crazier than ever before, which was also the big global success of brands like Keratin. Our skin is smelling different, looking different. You know, gone are the days where you would sit at a Lancome or an Estee Lauder and come out with foundations. We used to only do 6 to 8 foundations. I mean, now we're up to 24. Look at Maybelline. Okay, I think they're up to 32. So it's so important to see that our skin is different. It's acting different texturally. It smells different. The colorations are widespread. So very interesting, this whole global fusion. And then just kind of strange different textures and packaging. I just always love to throw this one in because you know that this product has the ingredients of a strawberry because you can feel it, you can sense it. It's very textural. It's very sensorially driven. You know, they say we have 7 senses, but there's actually some fascinating books and research out there where we actually have 13 senses. And I think it's very, very important today, no matter what product you make, is to engage all of the senses and really get the consumer to fall in love with your product. We're doing a lot of innovation in glow in the dark. You know, it's all about what is your product going to also look like on the shelf. You can't always control the lighting in the shelf. So some of this glow in the dark formulations and glow in the dark packaging is very fascinating. And some of the packaging is coming out of the toy industry. So again, look outside the category. Let's talk about Forever and Ever. When you came in, we were playing the song Forever Young. We definitely we don't want to die and we don't want to age. It's an epidemic. It's ageless. And while I was on the airplane, I was reading in the Financial Times some really pretty interesting statistics on aging. And they said by 2050, those over 65 years old will outnumber children under 5. It's a demographic shift that's creating a whole new powerful class. Now, yes, we all talk about the millennial, the young hip consumer, and they're important to talk to as well because they're 13 and they want to act 30, but they don't want to look 30. Believe it or not, they're the ones buying the eye cream and the anti-aging products. It's crazy. But there is this older market that people aren't really talking to because they're these baby boomers, whatever you want to categorize them as, they have powerful, powerful dollars, big, big money, and they definitely don't want to age. So this whole ageless thing is pretty fascinating. When you talk about age, I encourage you to change I call it racial profiling. You know, like when you go to the airport, they used to be like, hey, just because I look from, Saudi Arabian, don't stop me. It's racial profiling. It's against the law. Nobody wants to talk about it. But it's the same thing with age. There's different ways to measure age. There's biological, there's chronological, and there's mind-logical. And I don't know if you know it or not, but there's DNA tests where you can test it. So you could test your age, and someone might say, age-wise, you're really 50, but you act like you're 30, but your body thinks you're 88. I mean, it could go different ways. You know, some people's biological, chronological is very different. So as we start to profile, let's say we're sitting in a marketing meeting, and you say to marketing, well, what's the demographics and psychographics for this new eye cream I'm formulating? No one should speak that way anymore because to say, well, it's 18 to 26 or the age thing doesn't, because you got to sit there and challenge them and say, well, is her mind 18 or is she really 18? So it's very different how we start to profile the customer and measure age. The other thing that's very interesting is kind of these, we call them age markers or DNA tests. I don't know if any of you have ever had your DNA testing They swab your mouth, you send it to a lab, and it's fascinating because do you know what your great-great-great-grandmother died of? Probably not. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't even know her name. But what's amazing is that these tests will say you have 32% chance of cancer, what have you. So that then we can start to do preventative medicine. That's why we're living so much longer. And these DNA tests happen with saliva, and they're happening bigger, better, faster, and cheaper. So the oral care companies of the world are really focusing on these DNA tests. This is a little bionic chip. I truly believe in the next 15 to 20 years, we won't be injecting Botox in our face. We will just command on our smartphone or our computer and say, look, I got a date tonight. I want to lift my forehead a half an inch. And the command will make your skin lift a half an inch. It already happens in the world of medicine. If you see people that have lost their mobility skills with limbs or what have you, they put in mechanics and you can press a button, right? And the leg lifts and the skin lifts. So keep an eye out for this. It's also the way that we're going to start using tattoos and messaging. Do you know that 1 out of 4 people in the world have a tattoo? So we no longer have to do the little needle thing. It's all going to be automated and electronic, in the skin, under the skin. It's also a way where we're going to be advertising with the youthful millennials. So if they're in a store, right across their forehead, it'll say, buy Nike. And they'll get paid to wear that tattoo while they're in the store. It's all electronic. It's pretty cool. As far as this whole ageless thing, we're also skinny obsessed. We are probably one of the most malnutritioned generations of the world, but we're also globally the most overweight generation. And we're skinny obsessed. A lot of it is because of celebrities, because of fashion, because of clothing. So this whole thing of products that make you skinny and look skinny, and you know, you started the trend here in Asia, all the V creams, the new creams that actually lift and give you this real skinny profile. Very interesting. Keep an eye out for it. There's a lot happening in R&D innovation on the skinny thing. Products to make your neck thinner. Now let's talk about tech toys. And I know it's really interesting because sometimes we'll sit with brands and they'll say, oh, no, you know, we don't want to go in the device business. It's too confusing, FDA issues, plug issues. We don't want the lawsuits. Well, it's happening. And I think as soon as L'Oreal bought Clarisonic, you know, that's the face cleanser that vibrated like the toothbrush. It's a game changer now. So now big corporations and beauty companies all over the world, you really have to look and see what's going on with devices. Now look, it doesn't mean you have to buy the device, but you sure as heck better be designing products that are pre-post device. Or let's say someone is using one of these laser hair removal devices. What cream do they use before? What do they use after? Very, very important with what's going on with laser and anti-acne. This is another device that I love to throw in that many people haven't seen. It's actually, it measures your hair loss. So it's a scale for your hair. Do you know that most people, by the time they lose 50% of their hair, they didn't realize it? Now, men kind of do the tug test, you know, they tug to see if their hair is still there. And us girls, we do the ponytail test, right? We kind of say, oh, we can wrap the band around twice, and then all of a sudden you can wrap it 3 times and you get scared. You know you're losing your hair. This is something that your hairdresser uses, so every time you come in, they actually hair check and measure your hair so you can use preventative products to make sure that you're putting more biotin in your hair to grow your hair. This one is really clever and smart. It actually measures your fat cells. One of the things that we have to do in R&D and innovation is we really have to prove more and more to retailers and consumers that our product is working. So these are great creams that then you measure. Your fat cell actually carries heat. So you can prove to someone not just measuring it weight-wise, but how you reduce the fat cells in your body, in your skin. So love some of these devices. Again, they don't all have to come with cords and confusion. Sometimes they can be as simple as that. We talked a little bit about oral care and saliva, very, very important. It was just in the paper today that another big company bought Oral-B, and now the toothbrushes are already linked up to your dentist. And there's an app which shows where you're brushing, if you're not brushing far enough in the back, if you're not brushing long enough in certain areas. And working with a brand like Colgate-Palmolive, I never knew, but you can die by not brushing your teeth. You can have a heart attack. It is so linked because the plaque goes through your bloodstream. There's also beauty benefits. They're also finding if you don't brush your teeth properly, you're getting more stomach cancer because the bad acids are going right through to your body. So oral care is becoming very important. I don't know if there's anybody out there in some oral care businesses, but there's a beauty connection. And I worked on Optic White for Colgate-Palmolive, and at first they were so afraid. They brought me in as the fashion beauty expert. I really wanted to do a lip plumping toothbrush. I still wanted to, but they thought it was too fashion and we weren't ready for it. Optic White is now the best-selling toothpaste in the world. And if you see their advertising, and it's all kind of beauty focused. So the two are starting to collide. This one I throw in because it's just really cool, back on the skinny thing. It's called the Torque. It's actually an automated fork which measures every time how much food and how many times you bring it up to your mouth. And it will beep and tell you to stop eating if you've consumed too many calories. I got to get one of those. Talking packaging, very important. I know there's some packaging people in the room. Your purses, pocketbooks, it'll start beeping and tell you, look, it's time to put on your face moisturizer, it's time to do this, it's time to do that. What's also really important when we talk about packaging is, for anyone in the room, once you sell your product to a retailer, you really pretty much lose track of it, right? We don't know who's really buying it. Well, the retailer tells us a little bit, but sometimes we have to go buy the information from big companies. It costs a lot of money. It's not always that accurate. Or as big companies, what do? We have big focus groups and market research where we bring people in, we bring them into conference rooms, we ask them, how did you like the product? Would you buy it again? Most of them lie. So what's very interesting and that we're seeing from some of these tech shows now is the power of the code. We all have a fingerprint, right? It's exclusive to us. And when we think about it as products, we do a couple things across the board, whether it's a food, anything, beauty. We have to put a batch code on there, right? Really important. It's a law globally. And we have to put an SKU number on there because that's how the retailers scan it, think about it, all that jazz. So there's a really unique company that we're working with, and Josh is actually here today. It's called Kessler. And they've kind of mastered this little code thing. And in a nutshell, it's fascinating because once you buy the product, and they're really big in the pharmaceutical world. Sometimes even though we're in beauty, I try to really look for pharmaceutical, what's happening. And there's a couple things happening in pharmaceutical, the counterfeit goods, and then before they never really knew who was taking the pill, where did it go. They have this really clever tracking system so that you can engage and capture the customer, and that's what's key. That's what everybody wants to do right now, is really get to know your customer. That's why they're doing all these apps and capturing information, because the more information we have on the customer, the bigger, better, faster we can design products. So watch out for this one. It's really interesting, and I'm loving the way that we can make the product very intimate with the consumer. This one's always fun. It looks like a tanning machine, but it's not. It's actually lights that infuse collagen and good things into your body. It's a machine that you lay in, but just keep an eye out. You're going to start seeing more collagen-infused lighting, especially when you go into retail stores. This one is a cool client of ours. You get a facial in this bubble. The bubble inside is filled with oxygen. It was actually designed by a tennis player, a very famous tennis player in Brazil, who realized that when he got massages before and after the game in this oxygen bubble, he outperformed everyone else. So now we're starting to use it in the beauty world, in the spa world. So they're called the Wellness Pure Air Bubbles. Kind of love them. The next trend is superhuman. We're growing skin, we're pulling skin. Have any of you out there had a vampire lift? It's the next big thing. What we do, I work with a lot of doctors and dermatologists, is instead of injecting botulism or Botox into your face, they actually take your own blood and then re-inject it right back into your skin. So you get a different plumping activity, a different kind of firming activity. This is a big one with all the celebrities in LA. Madonna's doing it, Demi Moore. Have any of you ever had a Vita drip? It's designed by a doctor. It's starting to hit all the spas and salons. So you'll go in and get your nails done, but while you're getting your nails done, they actually put an IV in your skin, and you get a 45-minute drip of different vitamins, B12, whatever the mixture might be. And your skin just glows and your hair starts to grow. Because if you just pop vitamins, a lot of times they don't have time to absorb in your body, but these Vita drips do. So keep an eye out. It sounds a little scary, but it's happening, and I'm seeing it in beauty salons everywhere. These are some other devices that form the mouth, shape the mouth. You know, we have more muscles in our face than anywhere else. That's why, do you know who the #1 doctor is for injectables in the face? It's not plastic surgeons. It's actually dentists, because they know the muscles around your face better than anyone else. And these are some other shaping devices. Change the shape of your nose. This one I love, lip growing serum. They're actually claiming that they can grow the mucous membrane. And then, you know, as we get more futuristically in year 2025, we're growing human body parts. It's already happening. It's scary. Well, some of you know skin grafting and growing skin in labs for testing products, especially as we didn't do animal testing. Just see, this isn't clicking. It's high technology. Okay, fake reality. How many of you have had time to play with a 3D printer? No? You can go on Amazon.com and buy one. It was actually in the Chinese newspaper, I think it was today or yesterday. They just made a human bone for a woman in her foot on a 3D printer. So forget about it. We're going to be making our packaging at home. We'll probably be making, sorry to say, raw materials at home. We're making toys. The 3D printers are crazy. I just spoke at LuxPack in New York City. The LuxPack Monaco, I think, is happening next week. It's going to change the way we make products. It's going to change the way we make packaging. It's incredible if you've ever seen how the printer works. You take a picture of something and the printer starts making a 3D piece out of almost like a plastic wax. So definitely Google 3D printers and get up to speed, because it's going to attack our beauty industry very, very aggressively. I know some of you are out there. I think Recckio's out there. Some people in contract manufacturing. We're working with a lot of new pigments that take on digital thinking. So you'll actually have a lipstick that actually can take pictures. The pigments kind of change and morph. I think someone's speaking on men's products after. This is another one, the gray hair pill. It does exist. You pop the pill, takes away the gray. I'm going to go through some of these a little quickly because I'm running out of time. Blurring, a lot of products that make you look photo perfect. We are the most photographed society and nation in the world. And you know, these young girls, they're crazy. And now every phone has its own photoshopping. This is one of the best-selling products in America right now. It's called Nano Blur. It's basically photoshopping in a tube. Yes, you guys really invented the BB cream, which kind of does it, but we're seeing more of these products with this kind of nano blurring. I'm going to go through the retailtainment really fast. I know most of you are R&D folks, but it's very important to look and see how the products are going to be sold in the future. And there's all these cool magic mirrors and smelling over the internet. So, you know, some of this you can come up to me at the break after if you want to see some of this. These are mannequins with live eyes that actually can watch how you're looking at the clothes on the mannequin, and it reports right back to the home office. Let's say you're looking for a pair of shoes. You log it in your phone, you walk past the store. If those shoes are in the store, it will beep you and tell you, come into the store, we have your shoes. So there's a lot of kind of virtual new things. This one is cool. It's from Las Vegas that I saw a couple weeks ago. You now can take a picture from your cell phone, put it in this nail printer, and the picture of your face will come right out on your nails. It's pretty fascinating, and the nail world has gotten really, really big. These are hangers that link directly up with Facebook. The next big one for me is cosmetextiles, and we actually have a textile expert in the audience today, which is exciting. They're sheets with osmotics, so when you sleep, all the vitamin C and all the good things go into your body. And then we're actually working with genes that combat cellulite. Yes, we will be taking our magical ingredients and working with people like Terry in cosmetics and textiles. It's called cosmetextiles. Now I'm also working on laundry care because you have to re-impregnate these products. So there's a lot of interesting things of how we're kind of taking it to the next level and scenting our clothes and electronic makeup and I call it electronic skin, and even digital fragrances. So, and this one, well, I'll wrap up with the last couple trends. These are the little digital lights. We'll actually be wearing lights for makeup. So if you say to someone, I want shiny hair, these little lights can go in your hair, they can go on your eyes, so it's actually wearing LED lights. And this one's really cool. Your phone rings, and you'll have a magical light in your nail, like on your nail polish, and it'll start lighting up when your phone rings. And again, this exists. I just saw it in Las Vegas at the beauty show. So I'll close with kind of time and the importance of sleep and resting. You know, now that our minds have gone all crazy with all these little fast trends, you're going to see a lot more products to do with sleep. There's a whole study on what happens to our body and our skin while we're sleeping and how the absorption is so much deeper from an R&D perspective. So, you know, keep an eye out for those kind of products. And, you know, I hope this kind of invigorated your mind a little bit. Just remember that tomorrow comes quickly. You need to really start working on new products today, because the development times, especially in these big companies, as you know, has gotten longer and longer. Regulation has gotten tougher. Those are our R&D challenges. So I encourage you to think about the future. If any of you want a copy of the presentation or want to talk to me afterwards, definitely give me your business card. We'll keep in touch. And, you know, enjoy and have fun thinking about the future, because everyone really should be a futurist. So I can take a couple quick questions, and if not, I'll be at the break. I'll also be at the luncheon. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening.